This tool uses 835 files, which are your electronic remittance advices that come in from your payers, and it creates a couple of reports to give an idea as to what's going on in your practice. So as you can see, we will get started with the first report. So our first report that we created is a total paid amount by payer. So what this does is when you send us files from your 835s, this is going to give an overview as to all of your payers that you send us and where your money is sitting. So it gives a great idea and into like how many payers that you have and where most of your payments are coming from. So for this particular report, we can see that a big payer for the demo is the Cigna Health and Life Insurance. And so again, it's just going to give an overview as to where your payments are, because maybe you might have thought Aetna was a big payer, but clearly with the breakdown, we're able to see, you know, what's going on there. Our next report that we have is for total paid amount by month. So what this report is going to do is, with the files that are sent, we can create a graph, and then that's going to show us over the course of, you know, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, really it's just going to depend upon the files that we get, where your money is sitting. So for example, on this report, we can tell that January, you know, we had about $1,654 in payments, but then February we really shot up. So the more files that you send, it's going to be able to paint an overall picture. That way we can see if there's any unexpected drop that we might have had in payments that we weren't really aware of. That really opens the line of communications as to what happened. Were there maybe some no-shows that we weren't aware of? Was the provider, you know, on vacation and our patient load kind of fell? You know, maybe there were some issues with getting claims out in a timely manner. It just really paints that picture of where our money is, what's coming in every month, and then kind of as a twofold to see what's going on and, you know, have we had some stuff drop off, and let's, you know, get those situations remedied. Our next report that we have is for volume of denied claims by month. Again, this is going to look at the total amount of claims that have been denied, and it gives a good inclination again too as to kind of what's going on. Why are we having these denials? What can we do to fix them? And then, you know, if we're rolling along and everything's great, all of a sudden we've had like a big spike, well, then we need to figure out what's going on with that. Let's get these issues prevented and, you know, make sure we're on track for the next month. That will lead into our next sub-report, which is for volume of denied claims by reason codes. What this does is it takes the reason codes that are on your 835 files and then breaks them down into denials. So typically when a claim is denied, it could deny it for multiple reasons. You know, are we requesting information from the practice or the patient? Do we have some benefits, eligibility problems? Do we have some coding problems? You know, credentialing, clearly that's not on the list, but we do have that broken down to see, you know, where our issues are. And again, this is based upon the reason codes that are sent on the payments. So, you know, for example, if we're getting a reason code denial of CO97, we know that that typically falls into the coding category. And so then again, that gives us a open communication to talk with our coding department to say, hey, what's going on? We have a lot of these denials. Where are we, you know, missing? Are we having some issues with maybe missing modifiers? Do we need some, you know, charge review? Let's talk about it and let's get it fixed. You know, same thing with benefits and eligibility. So clearly we can see that that's an issue. And that again opens the lines of communication for, are we checking eligibility? You know, what are we doing? What kind of tools are we having? So we can, you know, get insurances loaded on the front end appropriately and get the claims out the door the first time correctly to get our money flowing back in. So again, this is going to go off of the reason codes on the 835 files. The average payment amount per day per payer, again, this is going to look at like how long is it taking our payers to pay us. So one of the things that I look at when I look at this report, I see Aetna at 45 days. Typically, we like to see commercial payers come in at 30 days. Now, obviously, we know that there could be multiple things that could have happened along the way as to, was the claim going out electronic versus paper? Because we know that if the claim goes out paper, we should kind of expect a little bit delay in payment. And if it is going out paper, is that something that we can have a conversation with our clearinghouse? Is it something that can go electronic versus paper? But really, we like to see those commercial payers coming in right around the 30-day mark. So if we're seeing 45 days, that's a question that we need to start asking as to what's going on, what's the delay, was there an issue maybe on Aetna's end that the claims didn't get there in time? Are we having some issues, on our end? Are we not getting documentation done in a timely manner? Are claims not going out in a timely manner? So it really just gives the overview as to why is it taking so long? And again, let's try to look at different angles and remedy the situation. One of our last reports that we have is it is our last report. It's analysis of patient responsibility. So we are in the beginning of the deductible year, and most people have not met, their deductibles. So we can see that there's a potential amount that could have been collected at the time of service for coinsurance, copayment, and deductible. So again, this really looks at what's going on at the front desk. Are we not, collecting that money ahead of time? Do we not maybe have something in place that we should be collecting that money? Clearly, we see here that there's a deductible issue. Maybe we haven't thought about collecting deductibles ahead of time, but maybe we should start because we have a lot of money, sitting out in that area. So again, it just really opens the lines of communication as to what's going on. Let's get this money in ahead of time rather than, sending the claim out, waiting for the, 835 file to come back and say that it's patient responsibility. Now we got to send a statement, to the patient and wait for them to pay when we could be proactive in collecting the money ahead of time. And so that actually is the final report. So if you guys would like a report done, you can, definitely give us a shout, email us, and we can, get in contact.